Number of media outlets reporting here that government officials and intelligence communities particularly, they want to bring some charge against former CIA director and war commander David Petraeus. They want Petraeus prosecuted for leaking classified material to his biographer, and it turned out former lover Paula Broadwell. This after the FBI found classified documents in her possession. Let me ask you, how much should it, if in fact he gave her basically access to his password that gave him CIA clearance and the rest, how much should he, as it relates to whether or not be charged with a felony, be mitigated by his service to country?
I don't think much here. I mean, obviously, we all recognize his great service to this country, but with that great service came the high. I mean, we're not talking about some worker here. We're talking about the head of the CIA. I mean, you can't allow someone access to your documents. I don't care how crazy you are about her. You can't do it.
I agree. And great service to your country is perhaps a mitigating circumstance at sentence if you're convicted. But you can't take that and give somebody a pass when they've committed a felony. Or
but this is a political, at this rate, it's a political calculation. Do they want to bring him down or not right now? And there's a pushback both ways on this, but I think the more they've learned, the more they said, oh my God, how much did he share with this woman?
I mean, he gave her access to her to a CIA email account.
I want to get to the next one, which is Malcolm Smith, okay? First of all, the dumbest thing I've ever think. State senator all of a sudden thinks he's going to become the Republican mayor in New York City. Okay, there's a certain place where a snowball would have a better chance of that ever happening, but he's in court. Federal corruption charges for a second week right now. Jurors receiving evidence, including audio tapes here and video recordings of conversations he had with an undercover FBI agent. He's accused of bribing Republican leaders to try and buy his way onto the ballot in last year's mayoral election. His attorney says his client was entrapped. My question's a different one, Mayo. Whatever he has, he's got stuff on other folks too. I'm surprised that this is even going to trial. Why, if you know Mr. Smith, I wouldn't put it by him that he would have flipped a little bit. Are you surprised that this is now on the court stage?
No, I'm not, because of his position. It's difficult for him to give anybody. Who else are you going to give up? I mean, other than the governor, he was basically one of the highest-ranking politicians in New York State. But the other thing that is interesting, going back to what you said before, you know, we did have a Democrat who became a Republican who was mayor for 3 terms, so Mayor Bloomberg. So it's not so crazy that he might be able to try
Smith
to.
Was like,
well,
you know, he was Democratic elected leadership. Bloomberg was just a guy with how many billions you want to say at the end. He said, all right, I'll be a Republican, but you know.
But the other thing, though, is this: in order for you to flip, the prosecution has to want to make that available to you, and in this case, that may not be.
So you don't
what
think
they're
he had a
interested
chance, Doug, and he just didn't take it? You just.
I don't know, but he makes a good point. I mean, he is the big fish, isn't he?
I guess so.
He may have had a world of information, but Rich, you also need to understand when you flip, you have to go in and admit everything you've ever done. Then in the Southern District, you have to plead to all of it, which might be a lot more than you're charged with. You will be a convicted felon. There's no guarantee you don't go to jail. And it's not so easy. It's not like you flip and you get a pass.
Well, they was doing it on TV. Okay. All right, gentlemen, and certainly the brains of the outfit. Thank you so much, Gerard, for joining us here tonight. I appreciate it. We will take a quick break, and when I come back, I'll have a look at headlines making news in the Valley. Stay with us.